Hello and welcome. I'm Tommy and today I'm going to be reviewing the OV Pro. So they did send me a review unit, so I didn't actually pay for this. However, that's not going to bias my review in any shape, way, or form. I'm going to pretend that I did spend my own hard-earned money on this. I'm going to give you guys my opinions on if I think it is worth you spending your hard-earned money. So without further ado, let's dive in. Before we get too far into things, I do have a script to my right that I'm going to be constantly reading from and referring to, because if I don't do this, whatever length of this video is right now, it would be twice as long if I wasn't actually using a script, because I go off the page a little too much, and I'm probably going to do that anyways. So the first thing that I like to talk about is the marketing material. First thing, the reason why this is the first thing that I always talk about is why on earth would you be interested in this product and what separates it from the competition? Why would you want to buy this one over the competition? So the focus of these is chat functionality. The idea behind it is that we've become so busy in our lives and so focused on our phones that we need to have hands-free devices to help better navigate through it. Therefore, they created their own app called the OV Loop. These earbuds allow you to have a hands-free voice activation through their app OV Loop, which then sends a message with both a text and a voice attached to it. This means that if you're in an area where you can't listen to your phone, such as a meeting, work, etc., you can read the message, or if you are driving or in the middle of a project, you can just hear the voice instead, which also gives you the full personality of the person and what they're saying. So it adds, one of the things that I like to think about is sarcasm. A lot of times through a text, you can't understand sarcasm. However, if you listen to the voice, you can understand sarcasm. The nice functionality of these is that it sends both, so you can hear whichever one you want, including their full personality, which is really cool. It also gives you the ability to give a text reply, and you can also just immediately reply to whatever message through voice activation or through pressing a button and then replying that way. It has innovative controls. It has 6 buttons with several features, including voice-activated wake words, chat mode, ambient mode, quick mute, active noise cancellation, play, pause, volume up, forward, backward, activate Siri, Google, and or Alexa. It has a 14-hour battery life of continuous play/talk time, a line-in for use on airplanes, computers, or anything that a 3.5mm aux cord will plug into, and an IPX4 rating, which means that if it's out in some light rain or you're sweating in it, it'll be just fine. They report that voice chats are 5 times faster and safer than traditional texting. I guess that depends on how fast you are with these guys. And it also comes in 2 different colors, rose gold / clay or gunmetal black. I chose the gunmetal black version. The next thing that I like to talk about is the actual packaging. This packaging is simple, but it's good. So right here on the front, you've got the OV Pro, voice first, hearable assistant, etc., etc. Gives you all that information. On the back here, I think is really the gold. So I'm going to try to get a little bit closer. So you've got like your competition of like Beats Solo 3, Bose QC35, AirPods, Bose QC30, OV Executive, which is kind of a fancier version of this one, and then the OV Pro. And what I really like about this one is that it gives you a nice little quick spec sheet of like what this one does compared to the competition. And I do want you guys to keep this in mind. This is a very expensive product. I think it's going for $180, which I know is a lot of change. But if you're comparing them to the devices here, it's not actually that expensive for all the features that you get, which is something that took me a long time to actually realize in my brain, is that these aren't necessarily getting compared to your normal like $25 earphones, because they do way more and they sound a lot better. They are trying to compare to this market of your AirPods, your Bose, your other high quality around the neck Bluetooth devices, which are all right around the same price range. On the side here, you've got nothing. On this side, you've got nothing. On the back, you've just got some other information. And then on the top here, if I get it the right way, you've got what it all contains in. So if we actually slide this open, you get something that opens like a book, which I always really like when products do this. I feel like it just adds a little bit more of a premium thing. Right here, you've got your instruction guides, which are really nice. And then you've got some high quality foam in here, right? And then you've got the device itself that you can just simply pull out. Really nice. And then in this little box right here, you have got a 3.5 to USB-C hardwire cable that plugs into your device and then into your computer or airplane or phone or whatever you want to use hardwired. And then it also comes with a fast charging USB 2.0 to USB-C cable. It's pretty long. Same with this one. The actual charging cable is a little bit thicker, made of rubber, and then the hardware wire cable is a lot more. It's also made of rubber, but it's thinner and it's very malleable. Really nice. One thing to point out, just a fun fact of the day, if you want to check how good your USBs are, if you see here, that's actually flush right there. And what that means is that it's actually a nice USB cable, where if you buy a cheap USB cable, that won't be flush and it'll be kind of messed up there. Just something interesting that I figured out a long time ago that I figured I'd share with you all right now. The last thing that you get inside of the case is replacement ear tips. So these are small and large, and then it comes with medium on the actual product itself. So overall, I really like the packaging. Gives you all the information that you need, and it, when you're opening it up, it feels like you're paying for a kind of an expensive product, which is the whole goal. You're also not overpaying like you do for, like, say, a Beats, that they spend all kinds of money on their marketing and on their packaging, which makes a lot of what you're paying for a Beats more expensive, where compared to this one, you're paying more for the product itself instead of the packaging, which I like, but the packaging still gives you everything you need to know. See, I'm rambling. This is what I was talking about. This is why I need to stick to my script. Moving on to the next part. The next thing that I want to talk about is aesthetics and feel. This is going to be a long one because there's a lot of stuff to get through and a lot of information. So I apologize if I ramble a little bit or if this goes on for a while. So starting off, I just want to show you the product itself. Here it is. It's very malleable, as you can see when you're moving it around here. It's got plastic, right? Or not plastic. It's got rubber right there, which makes it flexible, and then you've got your high quality plastic here on the side. So if you're looking straight at it, that's what it's going to look like. You can notice that it kind of slightly curves down, and the reason why it slightly curves down is because when you have it on your neck, you actually curve down right there. So it's supposed to make it a little more ergonomic. It's supposed to let it fit a little bit better, and I really like that. So I just mentioned I'd bring that up. On the right side here, you've got something that says OV Pro. On the top, you can barely see them, but you've got your volume up, volume down, and play, pause, and power on and off. And then on the inside of the cup here, you've got your right button. And then on the left side, you've got absolutely nothing other than the button on the inside. On the right ear cup itself, you have the little button that I was talking about earlier, and then it says right there if you're looking at it that way, and then that way. And then next on the left, you've got absolutely nothing other than it just saying left, and there's your normal earbud. So the next thing that I want to talk about is that these earbuds are made to fully press into your ear, allowing for passive noise cancellation. So what that actually means is that passive noise isolation is like if you do this, it prevents sound from going into your ear, so it makes it less loud. You can also activate active noise cancellation. So what that is that this actually has mics on it that takes the outside noise and then cancels it inside of your ears. Most products don't come with active noise cancellation, so this is a really big deal for this particular one, especially at this price point, which is really cool. And also, because it's canceling your noise or just passively, you can also activate chat or ambient mode, which allows you to hear your voice and what's going on around you. I'll get into that a little bit later down the review. The next thing is the cables that are attached to the earbuds are long enough to fit most people just fine, so you can turn around, turn left and right, up. If you have a long face, if you're tall, long neck, short neck, whatever, it fits really well. But it's not too much and it's not too little. Also, this cable is really thin. If I can actually get this to show up nice. So that's what it looks like on the side, and then that's what it looks like on the top. And what that does is it kind of prevents tangling and also makes it nice and malleable, so it's easy to move around. It doesn't feel like it's ever pulling out of your ear or anything like that due to the cable, which is really good. Now we're going to go through what all of the different buttons do. I'm going to refer to this actual guide because it makes it really simple. So on the right ear cup itself, so this guy, which is this little button right here, if you single press it while a call is coming in, it answers or ends the call. If you single press it without a call coming in, it's Siri or your Google Assistant. If you double click it, it activates the OV chat app that you can move, which I'll talk about a little bit later in the review as well. On the right arm, so the one that has the volume controls and another little button, and I'm showing you the left because I'm a moron. There you go. There's the actual right with the buttons. So on the top here, these top buttons, if you hold it, it powers the device on and off. It does vibrate when it does that, and it also says power on, and then it'll say connected. A single press after it's already turned on pauses or plays it. If you double press it, it goes to the next track. If you triple press it, it goes to the previous track, and then you've got volume down and volume up. So those are all the controls there. On the inside of the right, if you single press this, it goes onto chat mode. So what that is it actually focuses on your voice and the voices around you over ambient. And that's when you double press this one, it goes into ambient mode, which makes your voice not as loud, but it makes the outside environment louder. And then if you hold it, it does the ambient volume, which comes in low, medium, and high. On the left arm itself, for the left button, you have Alexa and mute call. So if you're on a call and you press this, then it'll mute it, which is nice. So if you're on a conference call or something, it's nice to have something really close by that you can just tap and know people can't hear you, and untap and you can talk, which I think is really excellent. I was never able to get my Echo to work with this. And then if you double press, it has wake words on and off. So what those wake words are is OV phone, OV chat, and OV Alexa. However, I was never able to get any of those to work, which was really frustrating in my opinion. But that was, your mileage will vary there. And then if you hold it down, it does noise cancel on and off, which I will talk about how good that is a little bit further in the review. I do believe that we went through everything. I think they look good. They feel really lightweight. The whole thing feels super solid. The buttons have a nice little tactile click to them. None of them feel cheap, and they don't wobble. So aesthetically, I think they're good. I think they look professional. So if you're like wearing one of these, I don't think, and they kind of blend in too. I mean, especially with this shirt that I have on, you can tell that I'm wearing them, but not really tell that I'm wearing them, which is nice. And then it doesn't look too gaudy or flashy that you don't want to be wearing out in the public, and it doesn't not look gaudy and flashy enough that you wouldn't want to, like, it's not too not flashy. So that's kind of what it looks like when it's actually on your person and everything like that. Like I said, I enjoy it. Moving on to the specs. I'm going to just throw the spec sheet up on the screen right now. The main thing that I want to focus on in this is that it comes with Bluetooth 5.0, which is the best Bluetooth that you can get on the market, I think, right now. And I'll let you read the other stuff. Moving on to the personal pros and cons. The first pro, I'm going to start with pros, then I'm going to move on to cons. So the first pro that I want to talk about is sound quality. They sound fantastic. Bass, treble, highs are all solid. Great separation. Location of sound is good. Accurate sound. Mildly bright, which makes it exciting. So what the heck does all of that mean if you're not an audiophile and you aren't semi-okay with those words? So what I mean is that the bass is good. It's present. You can hear it. It's not super loud and it's not bass heavy. The trebles and the highs all sound really good. It's not sharp enough that it's going to hurt your ears. It's very kind of more of a neutral sound, which means that it's going to sound the way that the artist intends it to sound. With it being slightly bright means that it's going to be slightly more exciting than if it was completely flat and neutral. Separation means that you can hear all the different vocals and instruments if you're listening for it. Location of sound means if there's a singer right here, and there's another singer right here, and then there's a singer behind you, you can hear that there's a singer to the left, to the right, and behind you. This one is okay. It sounds really close instead of separating them that far. So, but like I said, the sound on this is actually super, super good. I was way impressed. I would say out of all of the ones that I've ever tried, especially Bluetooth, these are the best sounding by a significant margin. I have another pair of earphones that are wired that I bought that got like super good reviews. I don't remember what they're called, so I'm going to put them right here. That one, just like across the board, of the best, and they sound very, very similar to that. They're so similar that I can't give a winner to one or the other. That is how good they are. However, I do want to mention that if you have these hardwired in, the sound does change. So the EQ changes to being very neutral and very flat when it's actually plugged in. It also requires a lot more power. So when I was on Bluetooth, I was at 50%. When I was hardwired in, I was at 100% for the volume. And you can still use everything, but what's cool is once you plug it in for the hardwire, it'll go hardwire, it'll power this down. You can still hear everything, but it's not using the battery on it. It's using the battery on your device instead. And then the moment, literally, when you unplug it, it'll say connected again, and you're ready to go for Bluetooth. It is so fast, and it is so good that I love it. The seamlessness of doing that is great. However, as a caveat to that, on which bottom of it? So on the right, that's where your USB-C port is, and when you actually pull that out, you see how you have that kind of bends. When you're trying to plug in the cable, it makes it really hard because on the top here, you have your play, pause, etc., buttons. So if you're trying to push it like this, you're constantly putting that, or you have to like go off on the side, which is kind of weird. If you're trying to hold it this way, unless you tend to hit the right button instead on accident. So that's just something to keep in mind. There was a pro and a con mixed in that one. The rest of these aren't going to be nearly as long as that one. I just figured that I wanted to spend a lot of time on the sound quality because I do think that is one of the main points of if you want to buy this, the sound quality is totally and utterly worth it. Next, it's comfortable. I quickly forget that I'm even wearing them. They are that lightweight and that comfortable. There's also been times that I've actually walked into a restaurant or something that I meant to take them out on that I forgot because I forgot that they were sitting on me. So that's really good. That's what you want to know for something that's around the neck. The earbuds fit securely in the ear and are comfortable for long periods of time and provide a good seal, which means good passive noise isolation, good bass, and good active noise cancellation. There is some cons to this as well that I'm going to list in the cons list, so take that with a bit of salt. The active noise isolation or cancellation also works well for this price point. I do have doubts of how great they would work on a plane. I did some testing with like turning on my fan in my shower and putting on music and stuff and then putting this on, and they performed pretty well, but I could still hear quite a bit of the stuff that was going around me. Part of that is because they don't fully seal in my ear too, so some people it's going to be better, some people it's going to be worse for that. Like I said, in comparison to the competition of like the Bose QC Quiet 35, not even the same league because first of all, those are over the ear and like $400 instead of $180. So there's a big difference there. But the active noise isolation is good enough for this price point. Every button feels solid and there's no wobble. There's an audible click to all of them except the one on the right ear is a lot quieter, which is good because that's the one that's directly into your ear, so you don't want that one to be super loud because that'd be annoying. Which each press, there's also a voice assistant that vocalizes what the button is doing, like what button you're pressing and what it does when you press it, which is really cool. I really like that. And since it's very easy to lose what the heck you're supposed to be doing and like what you're trying to go for because it has so many features and buttons, it's nice to have that on there. It connects very quickly due to Bluetooth 5.0. You turn it on, it's powered on, then connected in about a second. So what that means, when I say that, it literally says powering on, connected. It's that fast. Like, it's crazy how fast it is. It also vibrates, which is nice. So if you don't have something plugged into your ear and you turn it on, you can tell like, hey, it's turned on or turned off due to the vibrate. It does have a low battery vocal indicator. It goes off about every 2 to 3 minutes, which is really nice when you have about 15 minutes left. So you only hear the low battery thing a few times before the whole thing turns off. What I like about this is that it actually waited until like the very, very end of my battery, and it wasn't, the voice activation wasn't screaming at me, making my ears bleed, saying like, hey, you've got a low battery, like some other ones that I've tested, and it's not so quiet that I can't hear it. It was a good volume, and it wasn't overly obnoxious, constantly telling me every 30 seconds or minute. Like I could almost listen to a whole song before it told it to me again. The voice assistant itself sounds really good. It doesn't sound cheap, which a lot of other ones do. It has a long battery life of at least 14 hours of continuous use, which is crazy when you actually think about that, because most people don't use something continuously for 14 hours. And I've been using this for 3 weeks, usually for about an hour to an hour and a half daily, and I've only charged it one time, which I think is crazy. When I did charge it, which I'll get into the cons, it did take a little while, but it lasts forever, which is other devices don't last quite as long, which is pretty cool that this does have really nice solid battery life. To kind of summarize the whole point of the pros for these, fantastic sound quality, super comfortable, and it has a lot of cool features like active noise cancellation and ambient mode that a lot of other ones at this price point don't include. Moving on to the cons, and there are quite a few cons with this, so it's not like this is just like some fantastic all-pro product. Your mileage will vary here. For me personally, due to the shape of my ears, the earbuds themselves do not go very deep into my ear, which means they can fall out a bit easier than I would like, and also don't provide a complete seal even after trying all the different sizes earbuds. The reason why I bring this up and I want to stress this is earbuds, part of the sound quality that you're getting is if you have a full seal, you have better bass, you have better passive noise isolation, and your active noise isolation is also going to be a little bit better because it's going to be creating a full seal. If you don't have a full seal, if you're hearing noise outside of you, it's still going to be able to creep into that little opening inside of your ear to let that in. So that's why the full seal is really important here. And I wasn't able to get that, but that's going to vary because people's ears are different. So some people, it's going to be better. Other people, it's not. I think overall it's good. I do have the ears that almost all products work super well for. So this is the first time that I've had one that it didn't work super great. There was a lot of times that I felt like the left earbud was going to fall out of my ear. It never did. And it was still well seated. It just didn't feel like it was because it was constantly pushing up to my cartilage that I have right here, just due to my ear shape and because it didn't go as far into my ear. Like I said, completely varies on individual. It took me 2 to 3 hours to charge it, which isn't terrible, but isn't great either. It has a fast charging cable, supposedly, but when I tested this, I probably didn't plug it into a correct power supply, and they don't provide one for you. And the reason why I say correct power supply is that in order to get fast charging the correct way, you have to be supplying enough electricity to the charger to the product that you're charging from. It's not super complicated, but you need the right stuff in order to make it work, and I don't think I had the right stuff to make it work. So that's why I'm saying, why I'm taking time to explain this. Next, I had a ton of problems connecting this device to the OV Loop app. I would say probably 80% of the time I couldn't make it work, no matter what I tried. So the OV app is in beta, which means there's going to be problems, but what I would notice most of the time is that when I went to send a message through the OV app instead of through my normal text messages, it would constantly say OV app required. Even though I already paired it with my phone, I was using it on the phone that the app was installed on. I even tried unlocking my phone and having the app open, and most of the time it still wouldn't work. So I just had a ton of problems with the app itself. I could also never get Echo to work, even though I signed into the app and I did everything I was supposed to, pairing and everything like that. It would always also give me the same message of saying OV app required. Voice translation was not excellent. It was good, but not excellent. When the OV app, inside of the OV app, in comparison to like Siri, it did better, but it still misspelled and got the wrong words more regularly than I would like. And due to me not having an accent and getting used to talking to artificial things, I feel like I do a little bit better than most people do. And it still had kind of a problem being 100% accurate. I had way more problems with Siri doing it through the device than I did if I wasn't using the device to activate Siri. And then also, like I said, for the OV app itself, it was okay. So it was hit and miss a lot for that. I would have also preferred the ambient filter noise, so hearing the noise around me when I had it plugged in to be a bit clearer. It sounded like it was coming from a lower quality mic instead of a high quality that I expected at this price point. Not saying that it was bad, and I don't really have anything to compare this to or against, so I don't really have a baseline. This is the baseline. I could be expecting too much, but I just thought it was going to sound a little bit better than it did. Because like I said, the best way to explain it is that it sounds like it's coming through a low quality mic instead of a high quality mic. The OV Loop app is also still in beta, so it still needs a lot of work before it is operating as it should and could be. I'm going to re-say that sentence because I totally butchered it. The OV Loop app is in beta, still needs a lot of work before it's operating as it should and could be fully relied upon. So they have a lot of work to do still with this. I think that once again, you're going to vary. Some people just are going to have problems right off the bat, which I think I did. Other people are not going to have any problems. From the reviews that I've read so far, a lot of people haven't had any problems with Echo or the chat or anything like that not working well. I think I just happened to be struggling with it. So if that's one of the things that you're super excited about, you might want to wait and just read a little more reviews or try it out yourself, and maybe it'll do better than it did for me. But it was a kind of a big letdown for me for how well it worked. When it did work, and the idea behind it is great. I wish it'd be great for everything to move for sending a text and a voice, if that's what you so choose to do all the time, is really cool. And then their OV app has all kinds of other features that they're adding to it or already have to it, that's creating like a whole ecosystem. And the CEO of their company also knows what he's doing. He's done a whole bunch of bid products and stuff for these other companies, for Samsung and other super huge companies that they've actually bought the product from him for. So it's not like the guys that are behind this don't know what they're doing. They really do know what they're doing, and I think it's going to be successful if they can punch into the market, because messaging apps are very hard to get into. Last, I found that a lot of the hands-free features ended up using Siri instead of the OV Loop app, which means that other earphones or earbuds or headphones or whatever with an inline mic are going to do just as well. Because if you're using Siri, then there's nothing special about this. Also, when I was using Siri, like I said previously, it didn't always pick me up very well. I did do a couple calls. On one of my calls, I did more than a couple calls, but the ones that actually mentioned or said anything, one of the calls said that I sounded really, really good. Another call said that I sounded like I didn't have any bass in my voice and that it was all treble instead. So something to keep in mind with. Still has it has good call quality, but I don't think it's like 10 out of 10. But I think it's way better than a lot of stuff. So the main thing is that with the one that said that it was more treble, is just I didn't have any bass, but I was really clear and you couldn't hear any of the things going on or behind me. So it does have a really nice quality to it. And then obviously when you're sending a message, it's going to be using the same microphone, so you want it to have a pretty good quality. And I would say that the quality of the microphone was good, but I wouldn't say that it was great or bad either. So it's just right there in the middle portion. I would almost expect a little bit more for this price point currently for the microphone than what I got. So it's just kind of funny to me that I'm ripping this apart based on the chat functions, which is the main points of it. So the next thing, the final thing that I want to talk about, because I already said that the software needs, in my opinion, a lot of work. I think it does work really good at this point, but it's not perfect yet. It's still in beta, so we're expecting some problems to be with it, and I just happen to be one of the people that have problems. Moving on to the overall impressions, this is where it gets a little more difficult. Do I recommend this product or do I not? And I think that is fully dependent on how much extra income you have to spend for this. If $180 is inside your budget, and depending on what you're getting it for, then it's probably worth it. If not, then it's not. And that's going to be a personal choice based off of your priorities and non-priorities. The reasons why I think you should buy this is, one, sound quality. If you're looking for sound quality, these sound fantastic. I absolutely love the sound quality. I tested it on a whole bunch of different people, and they all love the sound quality as well. And by sound quality, what I mean is like sound incoming to you. If I was on a call and I was hearing somebody, they were super clear. If I was listening to music, it was super clear. If I was watching a YouTube video, it was super clear. It has Bluetooth 5.0, which means that it connects super quick and it has a very solid connection and that there's less latency, which is also nice. Third, it's super lightweight and comfortable, which is what you're looking for in these types of things. And they fit into your ear and everything like that really well. 4 is all of the features. So you've got passive and active noise cancellation. You've got ambient modes. You've got chat modes. You've got the potential of having a chat app, which is really good. And I think if you're specifically looking for that type of thing, so if you're looking for getting the Beats X or these, I would get these over the Beats X, which I think are $150, because these come with way more features than the other ones do. I'm also not a fan of around the neck, and I use these all the time, and I'll probably continue to use these all the time because the sound quality and comfort is that good. If you're looking for this for a chat option, I can't recommend it at this time. I think in the future it might be better, but who knows? but I had way too many problems activating my Echo, activating Siri, activating anything through my voice only. It just like I said, probably not 80% of the time didn't work for me trying to activate it with my voice. And when I kind of had to yell it instead. And then the call quality is okay. I don't think it's as good as I would like it to be, since this is one of the main focuses on it. I don't think it's as good as it should be. And then also on top of that, you have to use a separate app to talk to people instead of just using your native apps. And it'd be cool if you could just use your native apps instead. But I understand what they're trying to do and create their own ecosystem, so I understand that. But if, like I said, if that's the case while you're trying to buy this, I don't recommend it. If you're buying it for the other things that I did really like sound quality, lightweight, etc., then it's worth the money. Based off of the competition that's also in this price point. It's still very pricey though. Anyways, that is all I have to say. Hopefully this video isn't super, super long for you. Hopefully it was very informative to you. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a dislike. And of course, if you've been following my content for a while, please do subscribe. If you made it to this part of the video, thank you very, very much. You are the MVP, and I do appreciate your support. Anyways, God bless, and I will see you, your beautiful face, on the next one. See ya. I can't believe I just did a peace sign.